Have you ever wondered if that old coin in your pocket or collection could be worth a fortune? Some rare coins have sold for millions of dollars, making them some of the most valuable collectibles in the world. In this video, we'll explore the most valuable coins and what makes them worth so much. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. George Washington is not just the first president of the United States. He is the very symbol of the nation's birth, a hero of the American Revolution, and a founding father whose influence shaped the future of this great country. Born in 1732, Washington became a leader of unparalleled distinction in the American colonies, guiding the Continental Army to victory over the British in the Revolutionary War. His leadership and vision were instrumental in the establishment of a new democratic nation, leading to his election as the first president in 1789. Washington's presidency was marked by his dedication to creating a stable and unified federal government, with a focus on setting a precedent for the future. As the first president, he established numerous practices and traditions, from the presidential cabinet to the idea of a peaceful transfer of power. His legacy remains one of honor, duty, and service to the country he helped create. In 2007, the United States Mint issued a special gold-plated coin to commemorate George Washington's life and presidency. The coin was part of a broader series aimed at honoring past U.S. presidents, and while the coin was not made of pure gold, it featured a gold plating over a copper core, giving it a brilliant golden finish that stands out in any collection. The design of the George Washington gold-plated $1 coin features an iconic portrait of the president, with a detailed and realistic likeness that reflects Washington's dignified and authoritative presence. The image of Washington is modeled after the famous Gilbert Stuart portrait, which was painted in 1796 and remains one of the most recognizable depictions of the founding father. On the obverse front of the coin, the legend George Washington is inscribed above his portrait, and First President appears below, along with the years of his presidency, 1789 to 1797. This simple yet powerful design captures Washington's importance in American history. The reverse side of the coin features the United States government seal, with the eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and defense. Surrounding the eagle are the words United States of America and $1. The gold-plated finish adds a striking element to the coin, giving it a luxurious and distinct look, despite the fact that the coin itself is made of copper. This plating is not only visually stunning, but also reinforces the lasting value of Washington's contributions to the United States. The George Washington gold-plated $1 coin has an interesting mintage story. The U.S. Mint produced this coin in limited quantities, and while the exact mintage figures can vary slightly depending on the source, the coin is considered to be part of a special commemorative series. In today's market, the coin has garnered significant collector interest, particularly due to its design, historical value, and association with one of the most revered leaders in American history. In terms of market value, this particular gold-plated coin can fetch impressive prices, especially when in circulated or near mint condition. In recent auctions, coins like these have sold for anywhere between $300,000 depending on factors like condition, whether the coin is in its original packaging, and the current demand in the market. However, the coin's true value can sometimes exceed these ranges if it is associated with any rare variations or if it has an error, something we'll discuss shortly. Though this coin is generally produced with a consistent design, certain errors can significantly increase its value. Errors that commonly appear in gold-plated coins include misstrikes, off-center designs, or instances where the gold plating did not fully cover the coin, leaving some areas exposed. These types of errors are prized among collectors, as they can be quite rare. If you come across a George Washington gold-plated $1 coin with such an error, you could be looking at a much higher value, potentially even several $100s or more, depending on the rarity and condition. As a commemorative coin, the George Washington gold-plated $1 coin appeals to a wide range of collectors, from history enthusiasts to numismatists and investors. George Washington's iconic status ensures that coins bearing his likeness remain highly sought after. Collectors are drawn to this particular coin because it represents a piece of history, commemorating a leader who defined the nation's early years. The coin's beautiful design, with the gold-plated finish, also makes it an attractive option for those interested in adding a visually striking piece to their collection. Furthermore, as a part of a broader series of presidential coins, it holds a unique position among other coins in the set. Next up, the 1985 Kennedy half dollar. This coin, unlike the 1974 variety, was produced in larger quantities, and thus its circulation is far more widespread. However, the unique minting features of this coin, paired with its historical context and the high level of interest from collectors, make it a fascinating coin to explore. By 1985, the Kennedy half dollar had been in circulation for over 2 decades, and its design was firmly established. The coin had experienced several production fluctuations and redesigns over the years. In the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a new method of striking coins, which included a change in the composition of the half dollar from silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition. However, the Kennedy half dollar continued to be produced and remained a staple in U.S. coinage. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar is part of this long-standing tradition. With a D mint mark, it was struck at the Denver Mint and is a representation of U.S. coinage during this period, with both its design and historical significance coming into play. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar features a large date design, which refers to the larger size of the numbers in the date. This variation in size can sometimes be difficult to notice unless examined closely, especially in circulated condition. Additionally, the D mint mark signifies that this particular coin was minted in Denver. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar in circulated condition generally fetches a lower price compared to uncirculated or proof versions, but it still holds steady value. Coins in circulated condition typically range from $58,000 in today's market, depending on the condition and level of wear. However, if the coin is found in better condition, such as in uncirculated or mint state, its value can increase significantly. In some rare cases, a proof quality or MS-65 example of the 1985 half dollar can fetch $59,500 in the right auction setting. The demand for 1985 Kennedy half dollars is largely driven by collectors who focus on assembling sets of U.S. coins by year, as well as those who have a particular interest in U.S. presidential coinage. While the 1985 Kennedy half dollar isn't particularly known for mint errors, small variations such as weak strikes or minor die cracks have been observed. These are relatively rare and can command slightly higher prices if identified by experienced collectors or numismatists. A coin with an interesting or unique die crack or off-center strike can increase in value, particularly for collectors who are interested in errors. As such, the 1985 Kennedy half dollar remains a popular coin for error collectors. As well as to collect coins from each year in U.S. history, the 1985 coin's demand is also supported by the Kennedy half dollar's enduring appeal to those who appreciate U.S. history and the artistry behind the coin's design. Next up, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, served from 1861 until his tragic assassination in 1865. Born in 1809, Lincoln rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most beloved and respected leaders in American history. His presidency was marked by monumental challenges, including the Civil War, which tore the nation apart, and the abolition of slavery, which would forever change the course of American society. Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War is widely considered one of the most pivotal moments in the history of the United States. His commitment to preserving the Union and his Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves, cemented his place as one of the most influential presidents in the nation's history. The U.S. Mint issued a special gold-plated $1 coin in honor of Abraham Lincoln's legacy. This coin was part of a broader commemorative coin series issued to recognize various U.S. presidents, and like the George Washington coin, it featured gold plating over a copper core. The coin was released in the early 2000s and continues to be a valuable addition to collectors' portfolios today. The Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin features a well-known portrait of Lincoln based on the famous photograph taken by Matthew Brady during the Civil War. This photograph shows Lincoln in a dignified and somber pose, capturing the essence of his leadership during one of the most difficult periods in American history. On the obverse of the coin, the legend, Abraham Lincoln is prominently displayed above his portrait with 16th President inscribed below, along with the years of his presidency, 1861 to 1865. This clear and simple design beautifully reflects the gravitas of Lincoln's presidency. The reverse side of the coin features the seal of the United States, with the eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and defense. As with the Washington coin, the reverse includes the words United States of America and $1. The gold-plated finish gives this coin a prestigious look and highlights the significance of Lincoln's presidency. It not only shines with a beautiful golden hue, but also represents the lasting legacy of one of the country's most revered leaders. The Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin, like its counterpart featuring George Washington, was produced in limited quantities by the U.S. Mint. The coin's relatively low mintage, combined with Lincoln's immense popularity and historical importance, makes this coin highly desirable to collectors and investors alike. In the current market, the Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin typically holds a value between $250,000 depending on the condition and demand. Coins in excellent or uncirculated condition, especially those that come with original packaging or certificates of authenticity, can fetch higher prices. As with the Washington coin, the potential for a higher market value exists if the coin is in excellent condition and has no noticeable wear or imperfections. The value of this coin, particularly over time, is expected to increase, as with other commemorative coins from the early 2000s. As with any commemorative coin, errors can drastically increase the value of the Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin. Errors such as misstrikes, off-center designs, or issues with the gold plating can make the coin much more valuable to collectors. For example, a coin where the gold plating has not been properly applied, leaving certain areas exposed, could be worth significantly more than a standard coin, depending on its rarity and the condition of the error. The Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin is a must-have for collectors who focus on presidential series or commemorative coins. Lincoln's importance in American history ensures that any coin bearing his likeness will always be in high demand. Collectors are also attracted to the coin's gold-plated finish, which adds an extra level of luxury and appeal to the piece. Additionally, the coin's connection to Lincoln's legacy makes it an essential item for anyone interested in coins that honor key figures in American history. As time passes, the scarcity of these coins will likely increase their value, especially for those who are able to find coins in excellent condition. Next up, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that has fascinated collectors ever since its release. While the Kennedy half-dollar series is known for its design and its tribute to the beloved President John F. Kennedy, the 1974 issue holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors, particularly due to the large date variation and its unique characteristics. The Kennedy half-dollar was first issued in 1964, shortly after President John F. Kennedy's tragic assassination in November 1963. The U.S. Mint was quick to honor the fallen president, and it was decided that a new half-dollar would be struck bearing his likeness. The coin's design was the result of a national competition and ultimately chosen to feature Kennedy's portrait by sculptor Gilroy Roberts on the obverse, with the reverse showing the emblem of the U.S. seal by Frank Gasparo. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar continued this tradition, and its design is reflective of the same features. The coin was struck at several mints, with the majority produced at the Philadelphia Mint. However, a noteworthy feature of the 1974 series was the inclusion of two date styles, a small date and a large date, with the large date variety becoming much rarer and more valuable. In terms of specific differences, the large date variety from 1974 shows a larger, bolder number 4 and 7 in the date compared to the small date. The difference in date size occurred as part of the regular production process at the Mint, but some of these varieties are much harder to find in fine condition. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, without a mint mark in fine condition, holds significant value among collectors, with a current market price ranging between $15,000 in auctions, depending on its condition. However, its value can increase dramatically in higher grades, especially in uncirculated or proof condition, where the price can go well beyond $20,000. The absence of a mint mark indicating it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint contributes to its scarcity, as many collectors are drawn to coins with no mint mark due to the rarity of certain years and the unique characteristics they present. While the 1974 Kennedy half dollar isn't known for major minting errors, it's important to note that some variations within the coin may be more valuable than others. The primary value-driving error for this coin is the large date versus small date distinction. If you happen to come across a 1974 large date without a mint mark in uncirculated condition, it could fetch significantly higher prices. Kennedy half dollars in general enjoy consistent demand among collectors, particularly due to their historical significance and the appeal of collecting coins that honor U.S. presidents. As for the 1974 large date no mint mark coin, its desirability is increased by the unique feature of the large date, which adds an extra level of intrigue for collectors. For those assembling a set of Kennedy half dollars, this particular coin is considered an essential piece. Collectors are particularly fond of these coins in fine condition, as it's a stage of wear that's perfect for observing the details of the design while still maintaining a solid level of value in the marketplace. Next up, Millard Fillmore, the 13th President of the United States, holds a special place in American history. Born in 1800 in New York, Fillmore was a member of the Whig Party and assumed the presidency in 1850 after the sudden death of President Zachary Taylor. His presidency was defined by the tumultuous years leading up to the Civil War and his efforts to ease sectional tensions between the North and South. One of Fillmore's key achievements was his support for the Compromise of 1850, a package of laws designed to prevent the country from falling into conflict over slavery. Although he did not achieve great personal popularity, his time in office helped to delay the outbreak of the Civil War, making his presidency an essential, though often overlooked, part of American history. This coin, commemorating his legacy, was part of the U.S. Mint's Presidential Dollar Series, which began in 2007. Though Fillmore's presidency might not be as widely remembered as some others, his coin has gained significant attention from collectors and historians alike due to its unique design and gold-plated finish. The Millard Fillmore Presidential Dollar features several key elements that are standard across the Presidential Dollar Series. First and foremost, the coin showcases a striking image of President Millard Fillmore, facing left. This portrait was created based on historical sources, aiming to capture the likeness of the 13th president. His facial features are detailed, giving the coin a lifelike quality, with an emphasis on the strength and determination that marked his tenure in office. Around Fillmore's portrait is the inscription Millard Fillmore at the top, with his years in office 1850 to 1853 just beneath the portrait. To the left of his image, the coin displays the mint year, while the right side features a subtle engraving of the motto, "In God We Trust." The obverse of this coin remains consistent with the Presidential Dollar Series design, with the E Pluribus Unum inscription flowing across the top, just above Fillmore's head. The reverse of the coin is more generic, featuring the Statue of Liberty with the words United States of America and $1. This reverse design is shared across all presidential dollars, symbolizing the enduring values of liberty and democracy. One of the most notable features of this coin is its gold-plated finish, which adds a brilliant golden hue to the design. The gold plating does not impact the coin's actual composition. It is a visual enhancement that gives the coin an opulent and prestigious look. The gold finish has made this coin especially attractive to collectors, contributing to its market value. The Millard Fillmore gold-plated $1 coin was released in 2010 as part of the Presidential Dollar Series. The U.S. Mint issued these coins in limited quantities, and each coin is individually gold-plated to create a luxurious finish. Although the coin's base metal composition consists of a copper core, the gold plating is what distinguishes this coin from standard circulating coins. The mintage of Millard Fillmore's dollar coin is estimated to be around 350,000 coins for the gold-plated version. This relatively limited production contributes to its rarity and value. As these coins were not issued for regular circulation, they are primarily sold through the U.S. Mint and other authorized distributors. Over time, the supply of these gold-plated coins has become increasingly limited, further driving up their market value. The Millard Fillmore gold-plated $1 coin in good condition is a highly sought-after collectible. As of today, the market value for this coin is estimated to be between $29,300 depending on its condition and provenance. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition or come with official U.S. mint packaging may fetch prices toward the higher end of that range. Interestingly, the value of these coins has seen steady growth over the years, primarily due to their unique appearance, historical significance, and the public's growing interest in gold-plated memorabilia. Although it might not be as valuable as other rare coins, the Millard Fillmore dollar remains a prized item among collectors of presidential coins and enthusiasts of American history. In auctions, the coin can occasionally fetch higher prices if there is collector competition, and coins with unique characteristics or errors can go for much more. As with many limited-issue coins, errors can significantly increase the value of the Millard Fillmore dollar coin. Common errors to look for include misprints in the inscriptions or coins that were improperly plated. Errors in the gold plating process, such as uneven coverage or areas with no plating, can also make the coin more desirable to collectors. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. His untimely death in 1963 left a profound mark on the nation, and the U.S. Mint sought to honor his legacy by replacing the Franklin half-dollar with a new design bearing Kennedy's likeness. The coin was not only a symbol of remembrance but also a political statement during a time of national mourning. The coin's first release in 1964 was made of 90% silver, but due to rising silver prices, the composition of the Kennedy half-dollar was changed in 1965. From 1965 to 1970, these coins were minted in 40% silver, a standard that continued until the end of the 1970s. In 1967, the Kennedy half-dollar was minted in both regular production and proof versions. For the majority of the year, the mint produced coins without a mint mark, except for the 1967 proof coins, which bore the S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint. The 1967 issue of the Kennedy half-dollar, in particular, represents an intriguing era in U.S. coinage. It was part of a transitional period that saw the end of the 90% silver coins and the rise of the 40% silver coins. This coin, along with the other Kennedy half-dollars from this period, was produced in response to the nation's heightened interest in silver coins as investments. The design of the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most recognizable and iconic in U.S. numismatic history. Created by U.S. Mint chief engraver Gilroy Roberts, the obverse features a profile of President John F. Kennedy. This highly detailed image captures Kennedy's likeness in a way that is both dignified and symbolic of his legacy. The words, "Liberty and in God, we trust," appear around the coin's border, with the date 1967 placed below Kennedy's image. The 1967 Kennedy half-dollar, with its large date, remains one of the more desirable issues in the series. The large date refers to the distinctive size of the numerals in the year 1967, which is an interesting feature when compared to other years in the series, where the date is often much smaller. This large date style is particularly popular with collectors who specialize in Kennedy half-dollars. In 1967, the United States Mint produced approximately 273.3 million Kennedy half-dollars across all mints. The majority of these were made without a mint mark, indicating that they were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. However, despite the large mintage, many of these coins were circulated extensively and are now relatively difficult to find in high-grade conditions. The 1967 silver Kennedy half-dollar, in fine condition, holds particular significance in the market due to its silver content, historical value, and high mintage. With silver prices fluctuating, the value of these coins has seen considerable growth over the years. As of today, the value of a 1967 silver Kennedy half-dollar in fine condition can range between $22,000 depending on the current silver market and the specific condition of the coin. However, it's essential to note that coins in higher grades, such as very fine or uncirculated, can command significantly higher prices, sometimes reaching upwards of $27,000 or more. Additionally, the market for coins like this one can be impacted by the demand for silver, which tends to fluctuate based on broader economic conditions. For those interested in numismatic value, the 1967 coin is attractive not only for its historical connection to President Kennedy, but also for its status as a silver coin. As the years go by, the remaining examples in fine or better condition become increasingly scarce, making this coin a desirable piece for collectors. While the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar is a sought-after coin in its own right, there are several varieties that collectors pay special attention to. One of the key areas of interest for collectors is the potential for double die errors, though these are not especially common in the 1967 series. Additionally, the lack of a mint mark on the 1967 coin makes it stand out as a unique issue for collectors who focus on minting errors or abnormalities. The interest in the 1967 Kennedy half dollar is particularly high among collectors who specialize in Kennedy-related coins or those with a passion for coins minted during the 1960s. The Kennedy half dollar series itself has become a benchmark for collectors seeking coins that represent American history in a tangible way, and the 1967 issue is seen as one of the pivotal years in that series. Next up, the 1973 Kennedy half dollar, though produced in large quantities, remains one of the most important coins in the history of the series. It marks an interesting time in American coinage, coming just a few years after the U.S. Mint began to transition away from silver content in coins due to rising silver prices. The 1973 edition of the Kennedy half dollar was the last year that the coin was struck in a 40% silver composition before the Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition for subsequent years. This coin is particularly significant for its design, the choice of metals, and its position in the broader history of U.S. coinage. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar was issued during an era of heightened interest in commemorative coinage, which was fueled by both inflation and a renewed interest in collecting. The design was intended to honor President John F. Kennedy, whose assassination still resonated deeply in the American consciousness. By this time, the Kennedy half dollar had become a regular feature of U.S. coinage, though it was still mostly used for commemorative and collector purposes rather than for general circulation. In 1973, the U.S. Mint produced millions of these coins, but the issue of coins without a mint mark is one of the more interesting aspects of this year. Like most of the Kennedy half dollars minted in the years following President Kennedy's assassination, the 1973 issue features the famous portrait of President Kennedy on the obverse, as designed by Gilroy Roberts. This depiction captures Kennedy's youthful, idealistic energy, making it one of the most recognizable images in U.S. coinage. On the reverse, the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparo, features an eagle holding a bundle of arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, symbolizing the United States' dual commitment to defense and peace. The design has remained largely unchanged throughout the life of the Kennedy half dollar series, which contributes to the coin's timeless appeal. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar was struck in large quantities, and it came in two primary versions: the standard copper-nickel-clad coin and the 40% silver version. The silver version is especially valued by collectors due to its metal content and its connection to the final years of silver coinage. The market value of a 1973 Kennedy half dollar, without a mint mark, or a regular Philadelphia struck coin in fine condition, typically ranges between $29,000. However, coins in higher grades, such as those graded MS-65 or higher, can fetch significantly more, especially when they are certified by major grading services like PCGS or NGC. What sets this coin apart is the larger-than-usual date, which was a design choice made by the U.S. Mint in the 1970s. The large date variety is highly sought after by collectors who focus on such subtle variations, making the 1973 issue a prized addition to any Kennedy half dollar collection. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar is an example of the U.S. Mint's commitment to maintaining quality and consistency in design, but it also benefits from the interest in error coins and minting varieties. While the 1973 coin itself may not feature a major minting error like some other coins from the series, its lack of a mint mark and large date are characteristics that make it desirable. Collectors of Kennedy half dollars are drawn to such varieties because they represent small yet important distinctions in the coin's design and production. This interest in the large date variety is what continues to drive the market for the 1973 Kennedy half dollar, making it an enduring favorite among collectors. Next up, Warren G. Harding served as the 29th President of the United States from 1921 until his untimely death in 1923. Harding's presidency, though marred by scandal, saw significant economic growth and a return to normalcy after the turbulence of World War I. Harding's most notable legacy was his efforts to reduce the federal debt, lower taxes, and promote business interests, which helped to fuel the economic boom of the 1920s, often referred to as the Roaring Twenties. While Harding's administration was plagued by scandals, most notably the Teapot Dome scandal, his policies helped shape the economic landscape of the decade. His sudden death in office left a mixed legacy, but his gold-plated $1 coin stands as a tribute to a man who led the country during a transformative period in history. The Warren G. Harding gold-plated $1 coin follows the same design structure as other coins in the presidential dollar series. On the obverse, the portrait of President Harding is prominently displayed, facing left, capturing the calm and authoritative demeanor that marked his presidency. The portrait is surrounded by the inscription Warren G. Harding, with his years in office 1921 to 1923 below the portrait. In keeping with the standard design, the reverse side of the coin features a rendition of the Statue of Liberty, symbolizing freedom and democracy, along with the phrase United States of America, and the denomination of $1. The gold plating on this coin gives it a distinguished look, and its shimmering appearance makes it stand out among other coins. This gold-plated finish is a nod to the luxury and prosperity that characterized the 1920s, a period in which Harding played a significant, albeit brief, role. The Warren G. Harding gold-plated coin, like the other coins in the presidential dollar series, was released in 2014. It was part of a larger set of coins designed to honor each U.S. president in order of their time in office. The gold-plated version of this coin is relatively rare, with an estimated mintage of approximately 350,000 coins. As with the Millard Fillmore coin, the Harding gold-plated $1 coin is not meant for regular circulation. It was produced and distributed by the U.S. Mint as a commemorative piece available for purchase through authorized dealers. The coin's limited mintage, combined with its gold-plated finish, ensures that it holds significant value for collectors. The current market value of the Warren G. Harding gold-plated $1 coin in fine condition is estimated to be between $44,500. Coins that are in exceptional condition, especially those that come with original mint packaging or are accompanied by certificates of authenticity, may fetch higher prices in the market. The coin's value has appreciated steadily over time, and it remains a desirable item for collectors who are focused on acquiring gold-plated presidential coins. Because the Harding coin is part of a series that celebrates all U.S. presidents, its value is influenced not only by Harding's own place in history, but also by the popularity of the presidential dollar series as a whole. Coins from this series have shown to hold or increase their value, making them a worthwhile investment for collectors. As with the Millard Fillmore coin, collectors are keen on finding errors in the Warren G. Harding gold-plated coin. Misprints, such as errors in the inscriptions, or issues with the gold plating process like missed areas or uneven application, can make this coin even more valuable. Collector interest in the Harding coin is heightened due to his unique place in history. Despite his relatively short time in office and the scandals that followed his death, Harding's presidency is often viewed through the lens of post-WWI economic prosperity. His gold-plated coin represents the spirit of the Roaring Twenties, which makes it a highly sought-after item in numismatic circles. Next up, the Kennedy half dollar. 1988 has always been an iconic coin in American history, not only because of its connection to President John F. Kennedy, but also due to the significance of its design and production. By the time we reached the late 1980s, the Kennedy half dollar was primarily being used for commemorative purposes and as a collector's item rather than as everyday currency. The 1988 edition of the Kennedy half dollar holds a special place in numismatic circles due to a very rare minting error, a P/D error, which makes it even more valuable and desirable. In 1988, The U.S. Mint made a minting mistake by overstriking a D mint mark with a P mint mark, resulting in the P over D error. This happened because some of the dies used in 1988 had remnants of the earlier D mint mark from 1987, which were accidentally overlaid with the P mark for Philadelphia. As a result, some coins produced that year display the P over D error, making them an anomaly and a highly prized rarity among collectors. The Kennedy half dollar itself is a beautiful example of American coin design. The obverse features a portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, based on the famous photograph taken by President Kennedy's official photographer, Cecil Stoughton. The design is simple, elegant, and instantly recognizable, capturing the youthful and charismatic aura of Kennedy. The reverse of the coin was designed by Frank Gasparo and depicts the presidential seal with an eagle clutching a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing peace and strength. This reverse design has remained unchanged since the coin's inception, making it one of the most enduring symbols of American coinage. The 1988 coin, like other Kennedy half dollars from this era, is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, which gives it a distinct sheen and durability. However, it's the error mint mark on the coin that elevates its significance in numismatics. The mintage of the 1988 Kennedy half dollar was substantial, with millions of coins produced that year. The standard issue for circulation was minted in large numbers, but the error variety with the P over D mint mark is incredibly rare, making it highly valuable in today's auction market. While the standard 1988 Kennedy half dollar without the minting error can typically be found in lower value ranges, the P over D error coin commands a significant premium due to its rarity. In fine condition, these coins can be worth anywhere between $42,000, with some rare specimens fetching even more, depending on the quality and demand from collectors. Coins in higher grades, such as those in MS 65 or above, can see values reaching up to $50,000 or more, and in some cases, when accompanied by a certification from a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, the price could soar even further, with sales records hitting upwards of $56,000. The rarity of the minting error, combined with the unique appeal of the Kennedy half dollar series, continues to make this coin a highly sought-after piece for collectors. The primary factor that sets the 1988 P over D Kennedy half dollar apart from the rest is, of course, the minting error. Error coins are highly valued in the numismatic community because of their scarcity and historical significance. Collectors who specialize in error coins are always on the lookout for such varieties, and a P over D error is considered one of the more interesting and valuable mistakes in the Kennedy half dollar series. This coin's P over D error is a clear and noticeable variation, and it's one that collectors will specifically seek out to complete their Kennedy half dollar collections. Additionally, because of the error's nature, it's not widely known, and many general collectors are not aware of its existence, making it a hidden gem for savvy numismatists. In summary, the 1988 Kennedy half dollar with the P over D error is a unique coin with a rich history, an iconic design, and a notable error that drives its market value. Its rarity and connection to President John F. Kennedy make it an essential coin for collectors, and the continued demand for this piece ensures its place as one of the more valuable Kennedy half dollars on the market today. Next up, Grover Cleveland is one of the most interesting figures in American political history. Serving as both the 22nd and 24th President of the United States, Cleveland's presidency is unique in that he is the only president to serve two non-consecutive terms. Born on March 18, 1837, in Caldwell, New Jersey, Grover Cleveland became known for his dedication to honest government and his fight against corruption in Washington. Cleveland's first term, 1885 to 1889, was marked by a strict adherence to classical liberal economic policies and his steadfast opposition to high tariffs and subsidies for business. His policies earned him the respect of many, especially for his vetoing of bills he believed were wasteful or detrimental to the public good. Despite this, Cleveland's time in office wasn't without challenges, including a devastating economic depression in 1893. But his reputation for integrity and leadership made him a lasting figure in U.S. history. The Grover Cleveland $1 coin is a part of the Presidential Dollar Coin Program, initiated by the U.S. Mint in 2007. These gold-plated coins are not struck in solid gold, but are instead clad in a layer of gold, giving them an eye-catching golden finish. The Grover Cleveland $1 coin features a striking portrait of Cleveland facing left, designed by renowned engraver John Flanagan. His strong, dignified features reflect the seriousness of his political career and his status as an important U.S. president. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the traditional imagery of the Statue of Liberty, which was also a part of the design for many of the U.S. presidential dollar coins. The inscriptions, United States of America and $1, adorn the coin, as well as the year of issue. Although the coin itself is gold-plated, the striking features are made even more prominent against the brilliant finish. Grover Cleveland's presidential dollar coin was issued as part of the 2012 series of coins, making it relatively modern in comparison to other coins featured on this channel. However, the true rarity of these coins comes not only from the limited mintage in certain years, but also from the fact that many collectors are keen to hold on to them due to their historical significance. The total mintage for Cleveland's $1 coin was approximately 320 million. But don't let this large number fool you. The true scarcity lies in the condition and the demand among collectors. As with many coins, the value increases significantly for those that are in mint or near mint condition. Coins that have been preserved in excellent condition, especially those that are uncirculated and without blemishes, are often worth much more than those in circulation. In fact, many of these gold-plated coins have been carefully stored by collectors, making them harder to find in their original pristine form. While these coins were originally issued at face value, the value of a Grover Cleveland $1 gold-plated coin has steadily increased over time. Currently, these coins in good condition can fetch anywhere between $60,000 depending on their condition, provenance, and whether they are part of a larger collection. However, some particularly well-preserved coins, or those with unique characteristics such as errors or anomalies in minting, can sell for even higher amounts. Coins that are in near-perfect condition or come with original packaging like in special sets or cases can also command premium prices. The demand for these coins is driven by both collectors who appreciate the historical legacy of Grover Cleveland and investors who recognize the potential value increase over time. One of the factors that makes any coin valuable to collectors is the possibility of minting errors. The Grover Cleveland $1 coin, though produced in large quantities, has not been without its share of anomalies. Some of these errors include misstrikes, off-center minting, and even variations in the gold plating process. These types of imperfections can make the coin even more valuable, as collectors often seek out coins with unique characteristics. In addition to minting errors, the Cleveland coin's popularity is tied to the public's interest in U.S. presidents, especially those who served non-consecutive terms. Collectors who focus on presidential coins will often pay a premium for those that feature rare or desirable traits. Grover Cleveland's legacy as a two-term president only adds to the appeal of the coin, especially among collectors of historical memorabilia. The Grover Cleveland coin is also often sought after by those looking to complete a full set of U.S. presidential coins, making it a popular item among avid collectors. As part of the broader series of gold-plated presidential coins, Cleveland's coin carries with it a certain degree of prestige and historical importance. Next up, the year 1968 was a turbulent one in the United States, marked by political and social upheaval. It was a year that saw the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy, as well as growing unrest over the Vietnam War. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins with President Kennedy's likeness, a symbol of national mourning and hope for the future. The 1968 silver Kennedy half-dollar shares many similarities with the 1967 issue, particularly in terms of design and silver content. However, the major difference between the two coins was the introduction of mint marks on coins produced at the Denver Mint. These coins were marked with a D mint mark, a feature that set them apart from coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which were typically unmarked. In terms of the Kennedy half-dollar series, the 1968 coin was part of a transitional phase. While the 1964 to 1967 coins were made with 90% silver, the 1968 coin, like the 1967, was produced in 40% silver due to rising silver prices. The reduction in silver content meant that Kennedy half dollars from 1965 to 1970 would be less valuable in terms of their metal content, though they remain historically significant and collectible due to their connection to President Kennedy's legacy. The design of the 1968 Kennedy half dollar is virtually identical to the previous year's coin, retaining the same image of President John F. Kennedy on the obverse and the Great Seal of the United States on the reverse. The large date feature of the coin is a prominent design element, with the numerals in 1968 appearing significantly larger than those on earlier issues in the series. This particular feature adds to the overall appeal of the coin and is a point of distinction for collectors who specialize in Kennedy half dollars. The mintage of the 1968 Kennedy half dollar was significant, with over 120 million coins produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints combined. The D mint mark on the Denver coins is a crucial feature for collectors, and its error variety has attracted additional attention from those interested in minting abnormalities. The value of the 1968 Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is generally around $30,000 in today's market. However, the coin's value can fluctuate depending on the market for silver and the specific coin's condition. Coins in higher grades, such as very fine or uncirculated, can be worth significantly more, sometimes commanding prices between $35,000 to $50,000 or higher. For collectors, the 1968 silver Kennedy half dollar with a mint mark error, such as a misstruck D mint mark, can fetch even higher prices. Errors like these are often rare and sought after by collectors who specialize in minting mistakes, making these coins particularly valuable. The 1968 Kennedy half dollar is particularly interesting to collectors because of the possibility of mint mark errors. The D mint mark on coins from the Denver Mint is often the subject of error varieties. In some cases, these errors include doubled mint marks, misaligned mint marks, or even the absence of the mint mark entirely. These types of errors can make an otherwise common coin quite rare, and they can substantially increase the value of the coin in the marketplace. The Kennedy half dollar series, including the 1968 coin, is one of the most actively collected series in U.S. numismatics, and error varieties like the D mint mark mistakes are highly prized among collectors. The 1968 coin, with its large date and potential error varieties, is an excellent example of a piece that not only holds historical value, but also carries significant collector interest. Next up, the 1972 silver Kennedy half dollar holds a significant place in American coinage history. Struck during a time of both political and cultural change in the United States, this coin was issued as part of the Kennedy half dollar series, which began in 1964 as a tribute to the recently assassinated President John F. Kennedy. The 1972 edition of the Kennedy half dollar is particularly noteworthy due to the large date design, a stylistic variation that set it apart from other coins in the series. However, its true value today lies in the error that occurred during its minting, the D error mint mark. The total mintage for the 1972 Kennedy half dollar series was substantial, with millions of coins struck across both mints. However, the specific error involving the D mint mark was relatively rare, and this factor has contributed to its increasing market value in the numismatic world. While the production of the 1972 coin was relatively high, close to 200 million coins in total, those bearing the D error mint mark are considerably scarcer. It is believed that the minting error occurred due to a malfunction during the striking process, where the mint mark was placed improperly or more visibly than intended. This error is a key factor in driving the coin's value up in the market. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar design retains the iconic imagery created by artist Frank Gasparo. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the right-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, accompanied by the inscriptions, "Liberty and in God we trust," along with the year of minting, 1972. The reverse features the heraldic eagle, which was adopted as the reverse design in the 1964 Kennedy half dollar and continued throughout the series. What sets this coin apart from other versions of the Kennedy half dollar is the large date design, which was created as a stylistic choice. This large date was meant to provide a clearer, more prominent appearance for the year, but it inadvertently became a defining feature for collectors who began to associate it with rarity. More importantly, the D-era mint mark on some of the coins is what causes the value to skyrocket. The D-mint mark error on the 1972 coin occurred when an additional die or punch was used that caused the mint mark to be struck with greater intensity. This results in the D-mint mark appearing unusually large and more defined than what was intended. The error is easy to spot, and collectors eagerly search for these coins due to their distinctive look and rarity. For collectors, the 1972 silver Kennedy half dollar with the D error mint mark in fine condition is an incredibly valuable piece. Due to the error and its limited quantity, this coin has become highly desirable for both new collectors and seasoned numismatists alike. The high demand for these coins, coupled with their rarity, has contributed to their rising value in the auction market. In today's auction market, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar with D error mint mark in fine condition can fetch a significant price. As of recent auction estimates, these coins can range in value from approximately $40,000 depending on the quality of the coin, the prominence of the error, and the buyer's interest. Coins in higher grade condition or those with more distinct and visually noticeable errors can command even higher prices, with some auction results reaching over $48,500 or more. Collectors are particularly interested in this coin because of its historical connection to the Kennedy era and its status as a relatively rare find in the world of error coins. The 1972 D mint mark error coin not only has value as a silver coin, but it also represents the era of American coinage in which it was produced, making it a popular choice for anyone seeking to expand their collection of Kennedy half dollars or error coins. The 1972 silver Kennedy half dollar with the D error mint mark is a perfect example of how a seemingly small mistake in the minting process can result in a highly valuable and sought-after coin. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting their journey in numismatics, this coin is a must-have for anyone who appreciates American history, rare coins, and the fascinating world of minting errors. If you come across one of these coins in your collection or during your coin hunts, be sure to evaluate its condition and the prominence of the error to gauge its true market value.